Hi guys. Today and the last few days I've kind of been thinking a lot about my pasture, and we just butchered Jumper's lambs, but where the weather is so dry and we're only watering every 2 weeks, which is what you're allowed when you're on irrigation or flood water, which is surface water. We still just have too many animals. The pasture is having a hard time bouncing back from their grazing, and so I need to get rid of some more animals. So right now I'm thinking, because I desperately want to breed Athena to Goaty, he's so nice, and I have an alpine buck that is registered that a friend of mine bought, and the deal is that I would take care of him, he would be at my place, and she would provide the hay, and then we could both use him. And so his hay is paid for. He is just stationary and I take hay to him. With the rest of the animals, they're on pasture. So what makes the most sense to me would be to sell Athena and Goaty, and with a caveat that I would get a baby back. I would get a doeling back. Because Goaty's mom and dad were the best from a couple of herds that I really love and have a respect for. So, kind of a hard decision because I really like Athena. It took us 3 years to find goats that were as nice as the goats we have now, and all of a sudden all of our goats are so nice that I don't want to get rid of any of them. Mr. Dirt wants to keep 3 does to milk, but we only need 2. Honestly, we could get by with milking 1 at a time and just alternating when their lactation runs. And that's ideally what I would like to do, is just to be milking 1 goat at a time. And Jumper's babies are ready to be butchered by the time they're 9 weeks old, which is really, really fast. So, what do you guys think? The does that are registered from the flock that I bought Athena from, their first lactation they go for $150 because on their first lactation they're untested. You don't really know what you're getting when you buy them, so that's why they're cheap. They're $150. Their second lactation they go for $250. And that's what I paid for the doe that I bought from Cammie. And she was a 5 or 6 year old, so she was an older doe, and I paid $250 for her. So if I'd bought her younger, I probably would have paid more like $350. And from Goaty's flock, she asks for her registered Nubians, even if they're first fresheners, she charges $250 for those, and that's where Goaty came from. So, do you guys know of anybody who wants a couple Nubian goats? I don't want to waste Goaty. We bottle raised him. He's a year old now, and I don't want to waste all that time because all we've had out of him so far is bucklings. And if we're gonna have a buck, I only want to have 1 buck, and the does that I have are alpine except for Athena. And the buck that doesn't cost me anything to feed him is alpine. So it just seems like the smarter financial choice to go with alpines. That being said, Athena is fabulous. She has open orifices. She has long teats. She's super friendly. So it's really hard because I don't want to sell her. But it doesn't make sense. I've got 3 milk does and I have 2 bucks. How much sense does that make? That makes no sense. Most people, if they only have 3 does, they just go to a breeder to have all their breeding needs done. If I went to a breeder to have my does bred to a buck that is really nice, it would cost me $75 per doe, and I would have to drive them all the way down to Pingaree, which is, let's see, I think it took me an hour to get there last time I went. And when your doe goes in heat, you have to go now. I mean, you have to drop everything and take 1 doe at a time. So then you have to factor in gas. So for each doe, it probably costs $100 to get them bred to a nice buck that's registered. And I just got my does all their registration information. And so now it turns out that my Alpine does are also registerable. I have all their paperwork. And so Crystal or Tina, if you're watching this, I tried to leave messages on your phone to let you know I had all the information now. So if you never get that, still contact me and I'll give you the information on your does. So what do you guys think? Doesn't that seem like the smarter move to sell Goaty and Athena together? And then I decided that I would sell Goaty for $200 because he is registered, and that if somebody wanted to give me a baby back, I would sell him for $100 instead of $200. And so does that make sense? Right now I'm getting a little over a gallon in the morning, and I'm getting half a gallon off of chamomile at night. And it's more milk than we can use. That adds up to way more than 7 gallons a week. And right now I've just been too busy to make cheese or anything. And that's without milking Cloud. I've just got the babies on Cloud right now, and I just go out and milk Cloud out if I see that she's starting to bag up on one side or the other, so that if the babies prefer one teat, then they will neglect the other one, and then she'll get uneven and her bag will get weird. So that, and I don't really want to keep the baby. Mr. Dirt really wants me to keep 3, and in my opinion, you keep the bare minimum of what will feed your family, because I have so much else going on right now that it just doesn't make any sense for me to be keeping more than I absolutely have to, because I'm still homeschooling, and I still homeschool in the summer because I don't want to have to play catch up when I get into the fall to remind the girls what we were learning. So I just feel a little bit unsettled about it, because it took me years to find all of these super, super, super nice does. And Athena is just as nice as chamomile, but chamomile is 5. And Athena, this is her first lactation. So she, as far as quality goes, her quality is as high as chamomile and Cloud's. It's just that she's a different breed, and I don't want to have to keep a different buck. And then I don't want to keep a buck and then turn out that for a different breed, I have to go pay to have them bred. I'd rather just keep it all inclusive. Does that make sense? Am I rambling? It just makes me sad to sell her because of... I got her because I didn't have any milk for my family. And just with her milking, it was enough milk for our family because she gave just shy of a gallon a day as a first freshener. So if I was going to just be into Nubians, but Michelle has Alpines, so she wants her Alpine buck, and she's willing to pay for hay for her Alpine buck while I take care of him. It just doesn't make any sense to have another buck around. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Tell me if I'm crazy.